Who.
Hello.
And welcome to To Watch Who, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Mark.
And I'm Sarah.
And I'm a Doctor Who fan.
And I'm new to watching Who.
Yeah, watching for the very first time.
Very first time.
Yes. And we are here via TMAT Communications. So last week we were on the planet of the Gons. I've TMATted to TMAT Earth Control. Sarah, you're on the moon, aren't you?
Is that where I am? Yes, I'm on the moon.
Yeah,
I'm on the moon.
So we're still separated at the moment. Okay, that's the intro. Let's just do real life talk a second.
Let's get real.
Right, we'll just get real a sec. So I am in a cupboard at work right now, recording.
Mark's in a closet.
So, because our schedules are still very busy at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny.
So this is the only way we can record, and I'm determined we're not going to miss a week. So if I've got to sit in a cupboard at work and record, that is what we are doing.
It's so
you might hear some clomping upstairs. They're rigging a show at the moment. This is the quietest area I can find.
It's so funny, honestly.
I'd also actually just like to thank my colleagues as well for assisting me in this. So Lowry is out there covering the actual building. I've not just left it unattended. And also I forgot to thank my colleague Ed, because without him we wouldn't have recorded The Invasion, because he completely left work, like he quit, and then he came back to do a shift so I could have the evening off to record The Invasion. So I'd just like to say
colleagues.
Thank you. Hashtag thank Ed.
Yeah.
Anyway, right. So just a few things before we get into the story. I just wanted to remind people we've got the Oscars coming up fairly soon. It's not too far away. So if you have any opinions on any moments, characters, monsters, let us know so we can consider that when we get to talking about the Oscars nominations. And also, this isn't a spoiler, because we're going to be reaching the end of the 60s fairly soon as well. Sarah, I'm not sure if you were aware of that.
No, I am.
So we're going to be doing a special All-Stars 60s Awards as well after our Oscars. All of our previous nominees will go back, and there'll be some special awards. We'll have a, Close Watch Award. So the All-Stars episode will be coming up. And all of our Edith and Katerina members, you will be invited to be part of the jury on that one, to select the winners of that. So you will get a special message if you have signed up on Buy Me a Coffee and are one of our regular members. So look out for that coming up soon. Also, since we last spoke, I have been to the Doctor Who signing and met Carol Ann Ford.
Oh.
But I thought I will. We'll get into the story first, and then because this is 6 episodes, The Seeds of Death.
I did it over 4 sittings.
Okay, I did it in 2 because we were going to record the other night, and I binge watched it pretty much.
Of course you did. No, I did episode 1, then I did 2 and 3. I've also lost my phone. So basically, me and Mark were supposed to record this on Thursday. This is why I've done it over 4. We were supposed to record it like a few days ago. I was going to watch it on Wednesday and finish it, but I've lost my phone. So I had to message Mark and be like, I haven't watched any Doctor Who. We can't record tomorrow. I've spent 4 hours looking for my phone and it's missing.
Okay, so let's start. The Seeds of Death, part 1. Here we are.
Bombay, Tokyo, shipment activated. Bombay, sending now. Tokyo, receiving now. Dispatch completed. New York to Moscow, delay. Moon base clearance awaited.
So we start off, TMAT Earth Control, and it's a really good computer voice, actually. I should have done the computer voice at the beginning. I should have done Cardiff Roath getting in touch with Cardiff Bay on the moon. No.
On the moon.
I don't know. Cardiff to Earth, Cardiff to the moon.
The only thing is,
Tokyo.
So his voice isn't that monotonous, which I think helps. Because it's sort of like, as it says more things, it gets higher. Did you notice that? So like,
Yeah, it's like must go to.
And now we are talking. It's not like that, but you know what I mean. You know, it does express some emotion.
And do you know what? I was getting flashbacks of the Ice Warriors because that starts off in the control room, computer voice.
It's quite a long introduction before we meet the companions and the Doctor, sorry. Before we meet anyone, it seems quite a while. Like a whole story pretty much happens before we meet them.
Well, yeah, so the base on the moon gets taken over, doesn't it? And by something. Yeah.
We have like the whole stuff on Earth and then that. But it's a lot like I was watching it and I was thinking, God, they haven't come in yet. And we're about halfway through this story.
Episode, so, yeah.
That was an observation.
Well, it has to set up what T-Mat is, what they're doing, where they are, where the two bases are.
And it's a really good setup.
The problem.
The first 3 episodes in particular are really strong. You know, I always think if it's a 6-parter, I'm saying here, if episodes 1 to 3 are strong, there's hope for the end. If you get to like episode 2 and then 3's getting weak, you know you're in for a killer end, you know? So
yeah,
this felt like strong from the start. And each of the like about the third story, I was thinking, God, this could conclude quite soon. But I had faith in enough of the story so far that I was like, okay, well, you know, we'll see it through. I'd like it. It felt well structured, which is sometimes rare.
It always interested me. I first got this when it came out on DVD, and I always thought it was a bit overlong.
It is a bit long, but I wasn't bored by it. It could have been because I did it in 4 sittings as well.
Well, can we please talk about Miss Kelly now?
Yes, you can talk about Miss
because
Kelly
you see her at the beginning, and it's a parallel to Miss Garrett in the control room with Clent. You've got Miss Kelly in the control room with the commander.
Good morning, dear. All functioning well?
Of course, Commander Radner.
In your case, Miss Kelly, efficiency and charm go hand in hand.
I try to keep things running smoothly.
And it's by the same writer, Brian Hales, who wrote The Ice Warriors and Celestial Toymaker. He's not my favourite writer.
No.
You have the sort of opening as well, is similar to The Ice Warriors with the planets and the sort of there's a little bit of that, isn't there? Not as much.
I much preferred this to The Ice Warriors.
Yes, I did. Yeah, but it is The Ice Warriors too, basically.
Yeah, and what I liked as well is I knew it was the Ice Warriors before I saw them because I heard them, and I thought, do you know what? That's also it just shows actually they are a decent baddie because they are I recognized the hissy sound and I was like, it's those guys from Mars. I can remember the name, the Ice Warriors, but I think I text you going, it's the Mars people.
Well, just going back to the beginning. Clothes Watch. I'm not too keen on their sort of onesies with these
they're awful
lines on there.
She's the only one that doesn't wear it as well. And I don't know how she's got away with that because the other guys are more senior than her and they're still wearing that. And it doesn't matter if you're male or female, you're wearing that. Yet somehow she's got away with it.
It's a bit of a weird mix because it's a good idea, the T-Mat, where you go back and forth on the moon. Again, really good scientific ideas, the sort of teleport system. But they've got this really old-fashioned briefcase. Just they've got this weird outfit and then just a normal 60s briefcase.
He's off to work.
Which shows, they're serious business people.
Got to keep his paperwork. No iPads or anything, you know.
So Dr. Jamie and Zoe, you've got that sequence where they're sort of in the Space Museum, not the Space Museum, another Space Museum.
Yes. I love a space museum, you know me.
Yes. Yeah, it would have been cool if it was the Space Museum. And then Tor was like, where's Vicky?
I wish we got to see more of the Space Museum, if I'm honest. But there we are.
Well, I mean, it was just a few models, really. It wasn't the best museum.
It made me laugh when the Doctor was like, oh, yes, in a museum, look. And then suddenly he's like flicking through a load of it. Like, look, he couldn't move that thing before. And then suddenly he's like, look at all these things in the Space Museum. And they're just different images of things. That made me laugh.
I've written here, I'm just sorry because it was a little while since I've written Governor being shit to Miss Kelly, I think he was a bit down on her. Like, she's trusted to run this TMAT system. They're like, oh, she's the best in the business of doing this. But he does, I think he said something like, oh, you better get this done. Or he was...
There's two. Because one of them... So the first guy comes, he obviously likes her. And then he goes, because then the assistant guy goes, it's a good job he went before your other guy comes. So they both obviously like her. They made like some sort of reference to it, as if like she's, I don't know, seeing the other guy, but she's leading one on. I don't know.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I didn't get that, but maybe. I've got a theory. I think she's Miss Garrett's long-lost sister. I think they're sisters in space business. And
maybe.
They both grew up to be computer experts.
They say something like, oh, it's a good job he went before your other man came or something.
Yeah, because that first one, he gets killed early on, I think.
Yeah.
When he goes up to the moon. She's running everything there. I think she's great.
I can't think, like, you're right, Miss Garrett, but Miss Garrett was almost a little bit colder. And, like, to this day, I still don't know why we bring up Miss Garrett. Like, it's bizarre, but well done her for sticking out so long. But yes, she's kind of like Miss Garrett. The blonde is she blonde? I've had a moment now. Yeah, the blonde Miss Garrett. I know I'm tired because I can't remember something that I've watched like 20 minutes ago, whether that person was blonde or not.
I kept seeing the parallels again for the Ice Warriors. So you've got Miss Garrett, the governor, which is Miss Kelly and the governor. And then you have the guy that's in the Space Museum who was sort of friends with the governor and then they're not anymore. And that's the Penley character from the Ice Warriors, the one that was with them and he's been thrown out. So it's very similar.
Yeah. Sorry, hang on. It's the same actor?
No. I just meant he's that role. He's that outcast role that Penley did in the Ice Warriors.
Is he really famous? His voice is really like, I can't. In fact, I'll tell you who his voice reminded me of. The First Doctor.
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't think. Yeah, I see what you mean, but
so they're probably like at the same school of acting.
As well, I was going to ask you, when did you think it was the Ice Warriors? But you've said because you see the gun and you hear the voice. It's the same gun thing. So you get all these clues, and I'm really glad that they held it off until like the end of the episode.
Yeah.
But you see, you have an Ice Lord now.
Yes.
Rather than just the Ice Warriors before, where they were all sort of the same and you couldn't tell who the leader was. And you've got an actor that can actually move his mouth in the costume, at least. So what did you think of that?
Yes, and when they are talking, it is clearer. Like, they weren't as annoying the first time round because of there was a lot more of that the first time round. This time, you still got that enough to put them as being Ice Warriors, but it was like you say, it was an upgrade because there was a lot more clarity to it as well. There was weight to the voice. That's what I'm trying to say. Whereas the criticism the first time round was they just whispered. You had no idea hardly what they were saying with on top. So, yeah, it was a much better Ice Warrior.
Yeah.
It's a much better Ice Warrior this time, yeah.
And you have that traitor guy, Fusham. He's the worst. He's so annoying.
He's the so worst. Also that poor actor, I think, because, like, you know, he's a wet fish, isn't he?
Killing him didn't do you any good.
But you will do as I ask.
There is nothing I can do.
You do not want to die.
I'm not that good enough a technician. It needs an expert.
But you are second in command here.
I mean...
He always annoys me when I watch this story, like straight away. He doesn't even have to do anything, and he just annoys me as soon as he appears on the screen.
Like, to begin with, I was like, maybe he'll come out as like the surprise here, because they're all sort of picking on him. They're like, oh, he's used, I was like, maybe and no, he didn't. And he's just so weedy and wet and pathetic. He's just pathetic. But also the poor actor trying to play something that pathetic. There's only one way you can go with it, and it is that annoying. Oh, he's really bad, yeah.
But a lot of people die straight away. The Ice Warriors are very sort of trigger happy, aren't they?
Well, that and I guess, BBC budgets, why keep people on for another episode? They do save the best person, which is that guy.
Which one?
Oh, the guy that pretty much saves everything.
There's Phipps, who
Yes,
helps them later on.
him.
Okay, I think
I'm
that's
a
what it's
massive
called.
Phipps fan.
Because, I was going through the list. I was like, well, they died.
Yeah. But thankfully, God, that's somehow. Thankfully, Phipps stayed around. He's great. Like
He's the one
I was
that,
just like, you are amazing. You can stay. You are badass. You are cool. You're defending Earth. You get it. You should have got the promotion.
He's the one that goes into the cupboard thing and sets up the trap.
Yeah. And also
Yeah.
managed to get in touch with Doctor and Jamie and
Yeah.
Zoe.
As I say before, I'm not a Brian Hales fan of his writing, I think. But then I can't criticize. I always think this, especially with the new series, even that people criticize the writing and everything.
Yeah.
And I try not to do that whenever. I mean, we sort of do when we talk about some of the characters and the decisions made. But I just think if I was given to write a script, especially dialogue, I can't do it. So I can't really criticize Brian Hales,
See, I didn't think this was that bad. My only real grudge, I guess, in this episode is it comes back to this argument of things being samey. I mean, it was foam again.
Yeah, more foam.
Foam, but just a different monster.
But they knew it works, and it's probably, okay, we've done all the risk assessments for foam before, we'll use them again. And,
yeah. So, that, I can understand this argument of, things being samey, because...
But I think that's more the producer than the script writer. He's a bit of a Terry Nation, because Terry Nation reused the same ideas and things.
Yeah, this wasn't his idea.
You could do an ice. I need to. There could be a Brian Hales cocktail coming up. Maybe I might have to try that, or an Ice Warrior cocktail at least. Definitely.
Maybe if we do a Brian Hales one, can it have foam on top? Just for
yes, that's what it's got to be, hasn't it? Or like snow or foam or something. Yeah.
Oh, do you know what you could do? But it's it's really fancy. You have to whisk an egg yolk, an egg white.
Oh yes, one of those
top.
ones. Yeah. I did a module on script writing in uni. I did a TV drama module,
of course.
And I mean, which was really exciting at the time because Doctor Who had just come back, and so people were talking about that.
Yeah.
And it was run by this woman. She directed EastEnders and The Bill in the 80s, so she was obviously an expert on TV drama. You had to come up with a TV drama, and I remember that morning, before the seminar, I was like, I haven't thought of anything. I had to sit down and quickly come up with an idea. Actually, a 6-episode outline, right? And it was called The Right Side of Youth, right? And it was about these 3 women who, in their sort of 40s or 50s, they all go off to be cabaret singers in Southend.
Oh my God.
Carol, Shelley, and Rupee. They all go to this sort of open audition and meet each other, and they used to be friends when they were younger, and then they've all gone off and had families and stuff, and then they meet up again, and they never got the chance to have the career that they wanted, so they leave all their families and form this
would
band.
happen now.
And then they meet this dodgy sort of guy called Roy who becomes their manager, but then he starts sort of having affairs with all of them and stuff and gets one of them pregnant.
Oh my God.
And then there's this younger guy called Jeremy who's an up and coming manager, and he wants to manage the girls. So there's all this stuff going on.
This would happen.
I found the outline of it the other day, and I was like, oh my. So we did that, and we all had to sort of read our ideas out in our class, and then we all had to sort of make sort of an episode or clips of an episode in video, because we did video production.
Yeah.
And then everyone voted to make mine. So we had to film. So we had to film it. And actually, do you know what? This does relate to Doctor Who again, because technology has changed since I did video production. The cameras are smaller and everything. We had these big sort of video camera things. And it was a bit like 60s Doctor Who. You see, I read about 60s Doctor Who, watched the DVD making of, and they're in the studio and it's done sort of multi-camera where they do a scene almost like theatre, and they cut between the things. And I was like, look, we've got an hour to film in the uni bar, this cabaret scene. Let's set up multiple cameras and just film it, and then I can edit together. We got a long shot, a close up, and everything. But then going into the editing suite and doing that, our expert lady from the Bill and EastEnders, she was like, "You don't film stuff like that. You shouldn't film stuff like this. This is not how you do it. You set each thing up." I was doing it 60s Doctor Who style, and she was like, "No, you shouldn't have done it like that.
Yeah.
Because you should set up every single shot." But like 60s Doctor Who, we didn't have time. We had like an hour to do this scene, and I just had to. That's how I decided to do it, because that's all I knew at the time. Because I've been watching Doctor Who, haven't I, from the 60s?
Yeah.
So the right side of youth coming soon.
I love it.
Anyway, what was I talking about? So anyway, if I gave that script to Brian Hales, he'd be like, "What is this?" So I can't really complain to Brian Hales. But anyway, part 2. I mean, you have the Dr. Jamie
hang
and
on one
Zoe.
second. It is a great cliffhanger, is episode 1. This is full. I think all of this is great cliffhangers. Yep, sorry, I just carry on. Part 2. I just wanted to say that.
Sorry. Well, the Dr. Jamie and Zoe, they're going up in this rocket, which is fun. And there's a bit of like, oh, should Jamie go with them or not? Because he's not qualified.
Oh, I know.
Zoe.
Oh, do you know what? Jamie's had a hard time recently. Like, he really is a simpleton now, isn't he?
I don't know. He changes a bit with the script, you see. And I was going to say Zoe is still really strong. Again, another story that relies on her knowledge and her capabilities.
Yeah.
And she's working out the maths with the rocket and stuff.
What Jamie brings is a simple approach, So whereas like the Doctor and Zoe will always look at the whole scientific stuff, Jamie will always look at the simplest answer, because he's not that. He's not the crazy genius. He's just, well, I'd say he's like of a regular. I mean, he's adapted so well. Let's not forget, what century is he from? The 12th? So he's done, pretty well. He sort of brings that, looking at it from just the basic angle, which can get forgotten by the other two. So he's useful in that way, but he does get ripped on a lot of like, oh, he's too simple to be doing this. Oh, he can't do that. Or he can't. Bless him. He's been going around longer than the others.
Well, yeah, and he's been in enough rockets by now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He should know what to expect. But I love the way that they're like, get ready for the G-force, and they've got like a seatbelt and some earphones.
Yeah.
in an office chair, and that's gonna lift off. And then, well, you see, Miss Kelly's got to go up to the moon. They're like, Miss Kelly, you're going to go and sort this out, this problem. Because it only works one way, I think. So they're sending her up there. She's like, I'm the only one that can do this. And I did think of another song for your album. Miss Kelly, can you handle this? Miss Garrett, can you handle this? And Travis, can you handle this?
Travis.
I don't think they can handle this.
Oh my God.
I was trying to think of scientific women.
What's Zoe's last name?
Harriet.
Zoe Harriet. Is a bit of a mouthful. Harriet, can you handle this?
That's Harriet.
Harriet.
But yeah, Miss Kelly, off she goes. She's there because you've got quite a few crew up there on the moon, and that obviously they've been hijacked by the Ice Warriors. And she goes in there, she's fixing stuff, but it isn't until a bit later on that the Ice Warriors sort of come in and get her. So I feels like there's a scene missing. Maybe I looked away, I don't know. But she's there for a while fixing stuff, and nobody says anything to her. And then suddenly the Ice Warriors come in, and then a few more people get killed, and they sort of all come in onto her. And it's like, surely if she beamed down, they'd be like, what's she doing here, and get her straight away.
I think they know that she is the one that can fix it, which is why they don't kill her. Because he says something, doesn't he, in the first episode, like the only person that can do that is Miss Kelly, and she's on Earth. I think they were watching at the door, if you remember, because they knew she was coming up. They get it enough that they can get it up. They see her come up, and they're waiting at the door watching. So they obviously know that she's the one that knows how to fix it, and they need that.
Right, okay, I see, yeah.
He
So I
does
was
say,
wondering
they
why
definitely say the only person that can do it is Miss Kelly. I keep wanting to say Miss Garrett. I have to stop myself. Is Miss Kelly. You've got Miss Garrett in my head. Poor Miss Garrett.
we could call her Gia Kelly.
Gia. No, I won't even remember that. I'm struggling remembering Garrett and Kelly.
Another, as you say, another great cliffhanger, the rocket drifting off. See no TARDIS action in this.
Yeah, all of that's great. The whole rocket
Yeah.
stuff was great. I enjoyed them having no gravity and their arms doing this. But obviously, that was funny.
And then Zoe is left, once they do land, Zoe's left to do the calculations if they need to take off again. Jamie, again, is a bit useless. Zoe is, up there with Stephen being a space pilot now.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Well, she's smart enough.
it's Stephen's role that she's doing.
Also, her photographic memory comes in very handy.
It's really good that they keep coming back to that.
Yeah.
I really like on the moon set, you've got the control bit. It's all fairly plain, but then you've got that screen of light. I called it the Chicago screen. Now, I've not seen the musical Chicago.
Right.
But I with the logo, I don't know if they have a screen of lights in it, but I call it, it's like the stage for Chicago in my head.
Yeah, okay.
And you see the sort of silhouette of the Ice Warrior.
I was not expecting you to say that.
No, do you know what I mean?
No.
When it says Chicago. You know the logo of Chicago where it's like red with like lights?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me. It just it's circular lights, basically.
Okay.
And then this is where I wrote about Phipps, because he sort of
Sorry, I had a
more
Chicago
prominent.
song in my head then. I nearly sang it, but you just stopped me. Carry on, sorry.
And then it becomes sort of apparent what the Ice Warriors' plan is. They want to get these seeds sent around the world by T-Mat.
The seeds are weird. I mean, the balloons. The balloons.
They are balloons, yeah.
Yeah. They're really weird. I don't know what I was expecting. It wasn't that. And I don't know. And one blows up in the Doctor's face, and they're supposed to take out all oxygen and kill people. Was he on holiday?
Yes, so he's out for episode... When he gets knocked out, episode 3 he gets knocked out, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's on holiday for that week.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Holiday watch.
Because I think he's got, if you look at his sideburns, he's got his sideburns double in size when he wakes up, or it's like...
I didn't notice that. But I did notice there was the one that was led down, because they obviously bring him through, don't they, in the 4th episode, and lie him down. And he... did not, it looked like an actor, another person. You didn't see his face.
We haven't had that since William Hartnell laid down in the 10th Planet, I don't think.
Yeah.
It's definitely a first Doctor move, isn't it, to have a double lying down?
Yeah. It made me laugh.
They're still doing it, though. It's funny, isn't it? 6 years in, they're still doing that.
It's the only way you can, I guess.
Well, or you've got to write them out completely.
Yeah. Which is harder. For the Doctor in particular, that's harder.
So these seeds get sent around. That's another cliffhanger. These seeds are suddenly sent around. And they say something about they're out now in the air in London, which is a bit of a COVID-y moment. There's a bit of a run around with the Doctor and the Ice Warriors, and it's a little bit comedy, isn't it? What did you think of that? Where he's running back and forth, and
the one where we film it from one side so it looks like one corridor, and then we film it from another side so it looks like a different corridor, but it's all the same bit of set. Yeah.
It's a bit filler, isn't it? And it's with the Doctor's character, but
it's filler. It's just filler. We get that now and then. I mean, you need that sort of suspense of chase, of them trying to escape and finding rooms and stuff. So
the big thing with the Ice Warriors is, if there's ever an Ice Warrior attack, you know what to do. You just got to turn up the heating.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. And I'm sure they did that in the Ice Warriors as well at some point.
They did. Well, that's how they stopped them when they got down to the base. They turned the heating up.
So you have that great... that's my favourite cliffhanger, because Zoe... We're going all over the place in the story here, but Zoe goes up to do the controls, which is this massive heating control on the wall.
Yeah,
she goes past it,
really obvious. No heating system is like that at all.
She's sort of mid-pose on her way back against the Chicago screen on stage, and then
she just needs
the Ice Warriors coming towards her. Yeah. That's really good.
I really want to just jump back one sec to episode 1. I think it's episode 1. It could be 2, actually. And Phipps, so he's in that room. He's not that well hidden. And they've got the camera high up in the solar power room. And the Ice Warrior comes in, looks, and then walks out. And it's like, how did you miss him? He's like just stood there. He's like not even really hidden behind anything. It's so obvious that he's there. He got so lucky. I mean, thankfully he got lucky. That's the point. But because they did it from that shot, it's even more obvious how unhidden he is. If they'd done it maybe from the side and you could have seen, the Ice Warrior coming in, and like so you just got more of him, you might. But it's so obvious that like it's a really small set room thing that they've created with not that many hiding spaces, and the Ice Warrior just walks in and walks out. Do you know which bit I mean?
It happens later on as well, doesn't it? I think Jamie's up against because it's sort of like a grill door, isn't it? It's not like a full door, and he's in front of it. You can see through it, and then he hides to the side.
Yeah, and he just like walks in and walks out. It's really odd. The only thing I could think of, but I couldn't remember, was whether they picked up on people moving, because he says something, doesn't he? The first guy that goes up and then gets killed, he says, "Don't move." And I wonder, and whenever people move, that's when they shoot them and stuff. And I wonder whether they picked up on like, I don't know, because they're so slow.
Okay, no, I never thought of that. Like dinosaurs in Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
where they like stay still. Yeah. Oh, I didn't think of that.
Because they're quite like. Maybe I can't think of any other reason how you could get away with standing. Like you say, and it's not just once, it happens a few times. But for me, that was the most obvious ones. They're just so slow and very... Yeah, that was a really bad shot for that, unless you're going to make the most of it.
Yeah, I've never thought of that. Well, I like the bit where Zoe and Phipps are together.
Yeah.
And Phipps has a bit of a wobble. He's like, I can't do this one. And then Zoe has to be like, you've got to get on with it. You've got to do it. I like that. That's a nice moment.
Yeah.
But sure.
Look, I can't remember. All the tunnels look the same.
Are you all right?
Oh, yes, I'm fine. I've seen most of my friends killed. I'm being hunted by monsters.
If you go on shouting like that, you'll be caught by them, and so will I.
That was good.
I love Phipps. Phipps is like up for Hero Award for me.
Wow. Yeah, I've never really thought about him before, but I'm thinking about him more now.
He's like... I mean, like, he single-handedly saves that place, and he's not that high up as an engineer.
No.
He's like, I think like second or third, isn't he? He's with the other guy.
What did you think about the location stuff where it's out on, I don't know, Hampstead Heath or somewhere with foam?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was all fine. I'm used to location stuff now.
It looks good, actually. The film sequences with all the foam everywhere. I've got Jamie fights a warrior here in episode 5. So that's what Jamie's contributes.
That's what Jamie does well. He just goes for it. Whereas everyone else tries to think of smart things, Jamie just goes for it. That's his strength.
It's nice that the story has a bit of a new location a bit later on, because we've got the Weather Control Bureau. And then they find out that actually water can get rid of this fungus, they call it.
Of course.
And rain. So Weather Control Bureau, and they've got to make it rain. And it's like the weather stuff in the Ice Warriors. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah. That's handy having a Weather Control Bureau, isn't it?
So, in my mind, this is in the same universe. You could have Miss Garrett and that down somewhere else, and they could have had to get in touch with Clint and that lot and be like, you need to make it rain. You need to use the ionizer to do this.
Probably,
to get the thing.
Yeah.
It's in the same sort of obviously universe and the same period of time. I think that's quite a cool.
Yeah, it's definitely in the same period of time. Even the costumes are kind of similar.
Well, yeah, they're not too far off, are they? They're just different lines, aren't they? They're just different black lines.
Yeah, one's white and skin tight and one way, and one's white and Y-fronty the other.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely
they very
clear sequel to the Ice Warriors.
Yes.
And there's a lot of... I like the bit with Jamie and Zoe. They have a bit of a run around at the weather control as well. And you've got the Doctor running... Did you think it was silly, that cliffhanger where he's in the foam and he's knocking on the door, and then the balloon is, and he's like, "Oh no, no!" You know?
Oh yeah, but like, you know, they're great moments. Like, it didn't annoy me, but him in all the foam was quite funny.
And then when he comes through and Zoe opens the door and he just falls over, you can see her laughing. You can see the actress laughing.
Yeah.
When all this, it must have been really good fun to do.
Oh yeah,
I bet he's sick of all this foam everywhere.
of course he is. Of course he is.
Just get him, or maybe that's just what they love. They loved a foam party, 60s foam party.
The BBC foam parties of the 60s.
You also see the Grand Marshal Ice Warrior on the little TV screen.
Yeah.
He's like the Ice Warrior that's gone to Claire's Accessories and got glitter and, all of the things. He's been made up. They've just added glitter to this Ice Warrior.
He's just a little bit more glam than the others.
He's the glam warrior, yeah. Zoe would like that.
Well, there's not really much more to say, Mark. I mean, they saved the day, as we expect. They don't say goodbye to people. I think overall, though, like, I
think this is definitely an improvement to the stories.
Yeah,
we've gone up again.
It's not the best story. It's not the worst story. It's like a middle to high. Do you know what I mean? Of the season.
Yeah.
I haven't really got any complaints about it, but it's nothing to write home about.
That's interesting.
Well,
I've added Miss Kelly to Women of Who, so there we go. We can add Phipps as well to our list of heroes.
I'm telling you now, in my books, him and his light beam and just general actions in this episode are up for hero. He's great. And he's just great. He's a really good actor. Like, sometimes it can annoy me. He doesn't annoy me at all. He's just great. He gets on with everyone. He's great.
Because I wasn't sure how it would go. I thought you would get bored, or you would be like, "Oh, we've seen this all before."
Oh yeah. And that's why it's not like a top story, because everything about it we've seen before. Like, there is nothing original in this story, but it's not bad. Like, what carries it are really strong actors. The side characters in this are brilliant. Like, the two older men and Miss Kelly on Earth are really strong. Like, she's a really strong female. And then on Moonbase, Weedy Guy, however annoying he is, he nails that. And then Phipps.
Your favourite Phipps.
My favourite Phipps. He's great. So, and all of those actors are really strong. When I think of what's the one where they're in London? It was recent, and we met the Yeti.
Web of Fear.
Web of Fear. So their side characters, some of them are annoying or just nothing characters. These are all, like, what those characters are, and they have really clear purpose, and they go for it. It's just great. It's really strong acting from people.
Do you feel like things are getting a bit too samey and it needs a bit of a refresh?
Yeah.
Because I think even with the first Doctor, although there was issues with the first Doctor, at least the ambition of the stories, it was something different every time. Even if they did a historical or a space one, there were different ideas. I feel like, we have not had.
I stand by Planet of the Giants as being like one of the best first Doctor stories, because it was so left field. And we've not had anything. Like, all right, do you know what? If they're going to go small again, or they're going to go really big or something, I'd be like, okay, well, we've done this before. But
we've had the Mind Robber. That was the only thing.
That's it.
Fresh. Whereas,
like, the first Doctor, we had loads of stuff. I felt like we had loads. I felt like there was much more. All right, we had what's the one where it was the spring that I hate?
Edge of Destruction.
Yeah, so we have the Edge of Destruction, which was great. The only positive of the Edge of Destruction was character development.
Yeah.
That is the only positive you can take away from that, in my book. It's a fucking spring, all right? But everything else, it's like, well, but this, like, great stories sometimes, but in between it's either wishy-washy or crap.
Well, okay. Well, that rounds off the Seeds of Death, I think.
Yeah.
So now I can tell you about when I met Carol Ann Ford.
Yes.
Yay! Well, I have to tell you about this because I haven't told you.
No.
I've shown you the photo, but I haven't actually told you about it. So that was the other day. Went to London, out of Cardiff for the very first time.
Very first time.
In about 14 months.
Yeah.
Got the coach down. Shout out to David, Mrs. Remington fan, on Twitter, and Sam Badwolf1 on Instagram, who I met up with, and we went to the signing. So there was quite a few different Doctors and Companions there, but I'll just talk about Carol Ann Ford because you don't know the other ones yet.
Yeah. Fine.
So obviously I got Unearthly Child DVD and Keys of Marinus DVD signed. Absolutely had to. So I was thinking, what am I going to say to her? Like, what angle do I go? Because I had my Keys of Marinus mask on as well, face mask on. So I was like, maybe I should go down that route and be like, Keys of Marinus chat, or I don't know. Anyway, so I didn't do the Keys of Marinus chat in the end. I thought I'd go a bit more intellectual. And so when she was right, I said to her, did she know, and listeners, I don't know if you know this, that the first episode of An Unearthly Child is on the GCSE Media Studies syllabus. It's taught in schools where they have to watch the first episode, and then they also watch the first episode of the spin-off series Class, and compare Coal Hill School. So I thought she might be interested in that. She might not know that. So I said that. I was like, did you know that they teach this in school? They have to compare this to... I said the new series because I thought I'm not going to explain to Carol Ann Ford what Class is because that's a whole nother thing, just in case she doesn't know. So I just said the new series. I was like, they have to compare the representations of the school. And she was like, oh, no, I didn't know that. And she just went, well, how do they compare? And I was like, I wasn't ready for that. I was like, well, I mean, I don't know myself. I just know that it's on the syllable, but
Syllable.
That's the right word, isn't it?
Syllabus.
Syllabus. Sorry, I said syllabus.
Syllable's like.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. So I was like, well, I don't teach it. Like, it's not myself, but I know that it's on there, and I just, And she was like, oh yeah. And then that was pretty much the chat, really, and she signed it and everything. So it was amazing to see her. I was like, oh my god, it's Susan. And then as I was going, I put my stuff in my bag, and I was like, oh thanks. And I was walking back, and then as I walked off, she shouted at me. She went, and say hi to your dad. And I was like, that did not come up. I was like, where did that come from?
Oh wow!
She says, and I was like, thanks, bye.
That's what she did.
And like everyone in the room heard it. What did she? I don't know. Anyway, she said, "Hi."
Have you said hi to your dad, Mark? Because Carol Ann Ford told you to.
Which, yeah, I know. Which everyone found hilarious now. So,
say hi to your dad.
Well, I mean, I had a mask. Maybe she couldn't. Maybe she heard something else that I was saying. I don't know, because maybe she just couldn't hear because it was all like distance and stuff. You were one end of the table and she was at the other end, so it's not like I was so close.
Yeah.
So you sort of had to sort of shout through your mask. So, and the photo's not too bad actually. I think I look a bit. I don't know what happened to my eyebrows in it. I don't know what happened there. I was out in the sun a bit. I think I look a bit. It was successful. It was great, and I have met Susan now, so I am very happy with that.
Oh, well done, you.
So, next time, everybody. Hang on, sorry. That's Miss Kelly. She needs to beam me up somewhere else in a minute, so I've got to get in T-Mat. Time is running out on the record. Anyway, sorry. I think we're both very overtired today.
Are.
But it's not going to let up, unfortunately, because you have the next story. You've got the recon ready to watch.
Yeah.
So the next story is called The Space Pirates. Listeners, you will all agree with me 100%. This is going to be the toughest one that we're going through. You thought Edge of Destruction was tough. You thought Marco Polo was tough. You thought Web Planet was tough. This one is going to be really difficult. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to put that in your mind when you watch it.
Yeah.
But it's 6 episodes. only one exists, no telesnaps. So, they've only got like some photos to go on to do a recon in the first place.
Okay.
And it's famously, I'm not sure if it's known because we'll go into it next week, but I'm not sure if it's known as a bad story because no one really has got to know it that well because there's so little of it. Right. It might be that, but we've given ourselves quite a bit of time to watch. But I would say break it up bit by bit because I'm going to find this tough to get through as well. So
okay, great.
So there we go. Like everybody knows, the Space Pirates is a difficult one. So if we can get through this, it's easy. It's easy there on in, I think.
Yeah. I would say looking forward to it, but it sounds like I'm not. So,
well, you see, I don't want to say too much more, just in case you might really enjoy it.
Yeah. Okay.
But we will be back together to record that one, so we'll team out back to somewhere else to do that. So,
yeah.
You can still follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 2watchwho. And you can support us at buymeacoffee.com/2watchwho. Thank you so much to everybody who is supporting us. It just helps support us with equipment and stuff. And, I've got we bought these shield things, which I can take to work now and record if need be. It's keeping the podcast on the air. That is what you're doing.
Absolutely,
by supporting us. So thank
We've got
you
another mic here for me here. So
yeah, we have to have the mic. Yeah, we've got an emergency mic so we can keep going and stuff. So it is all going back into the podcast. So thank you very much.
And if you're a supporter, then look out for that email soon about the...
Yes, we'll be in touch with you for our All-Stars episode as well. So
yeah,
look out for that. So until then, we shall... Oh, do you know what? I don't even know what I'm saying. Until then, we will see you next week is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Until then, see you next week.
Yes.
We have to finish it, Mark. You have to say it. We haven't said bye.
Okay. All right then. Bye.
Bye.
To watch who?